Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you are new in this channel, make sure that you click the like button, you comment, you share and you subscribe. Don't forget to click the notification button so that you can get more and more new videos right on your YouTube. Right, so today we are going to look at the Descartes and Dualism theory, right, based on the perspective of brain and behavior. So let us go to our body. Right, today we are going to look at Descartes and Dualism theory. Right, so we said this theory, it is a perspective between the brain and behavior. Right, so was one of the philosophers. He said on dualism, let us start by the definition of dualism. Dualism
Self as the behavior, that is governed or controlled by both mind and body. Right, so on his theory said this is the actually right. This is actually the mind, and then this is actually you, right? So he said on his theory, both of these things they interact and then they lead to a certain behavior, right? So that is the dualism definition. Right, let us proceed with our lecture. Right, so on his theory, he said there is a seat of a mind in the brain. Actually, this theory said that there is a seat of mind in the brain, not completely brain, but there is a seat of mind. Do you remember consciousness, memory, and all the stuff? There is a seat of mind in the brain, right? So he said, is the one that control the body and behave. Right, this thing of mind, it give an important role of the brain. And now you are wondering, how come can the mind can give the role in the brain per se? Right, so let us continue with our lecture. Right, he realized that actually the mind and the body can be explained via mechanical, right? Via mechanically and physically principle. Wow. This is actually crazy, but let us proceed with our lecture. Right. So on his theory, he decided that the mind, right. Decided that the mind and the body, both of these things can be explained via physically and mechanically principles. Right. Actually, he didn't consider per se actually the state of mind, but he was studying actually the physically and mechanically principles. And then he said here is the physical laws that control forces, that control what chemicals in order for the particular particles to move, right? So he said on his theory, right, physically and mechanically principle can be used in order to study the human behavior, right? The human behavior. This is funny and interesting, right? And it is crazy per se, right? So on his theory they say, he didn't knew, right? He didn't knew how to reduce. He didn't knew how to reduce consciousness, right? So he didn't knew how to reduce consciousness on the mind, right? On the mind. So mechanically he was studying mechanical principle plus physically principle. Both of them, he used both of them in order to study the behavior of a human being. So they say he didn't knew how to reduce the consciousness using this theory. And then they said he concluded by saying that a non-material mind, right, control a rationally behavior, right? This is crazy, right? So he typically use rationally word in order to say a behavior is being controlled via consciousness, right? So yeah, and then on his theory he used mechanically and physical principle in order to study the movement of a body. So they say he used mechanically and physical principle in order to study the movement of a human being, right? The movement of a human being, right? So as this guy tried to study the human behavior, but he actually used the mechanically plus physical principle. So they used to say he discovered one of the small structure in the brain which was pineal gland, right? Right. So they said this guy, he discovered something that is called pineal gland. If you remember pineal gland very well, it sits beneath the ventricles. So they said he discovered this thing actually on the brain, right? Let us proceed. So he concluded by
he certainly concluded by saying that mind actually instructed pineal gland that lies without a fluid filled from the cavities of ventricles, right? Ventricles. So if you remember very well that a fluid field, it is something that we find on the what? On the ventricles, right? So It is something that we find on the what? On the ventricles, right? So, as you know that we find something that is a fluid here in the ventricles, right? So, and then here beneath the ventricles there's something that is called pineal gland, right? There's something that is like a pineal thing right here on the brain. So he discovered the small part, and then he said actually the mind that sits in the brain, actually in the mind that sits in the brain instructed the mind, instructed pineal gland that sit beneath the ventricles, or that sit without the fluid field, that sit without the fluid field from the cavity of ventricles. So as you know that this fluid you see as FCSS, cerebrospinal fluid. So he said actually the mind is actually that one instructed the pineal gland, right? And then actually is the one that instructed the what? The pineal gland that sit beneath the, that lie or sit beneath the what? The ventricles.
Yes, right. So on his theory say that's actually lead
the pineal gland, right? That actually lead to the pineal gland to do what? To control that CSF, cerebrospinal fluid, through nervous system, through the whole body, through nervous system. And then he said if that fluid filled up the muscles, fill up the muscles, the body will actually start to move. Right, now let us look at the criticism or the problem about Descartes and Dualism theory. So first of all the pineal gland was not to control the movement, right? So actually number two the CSF, cerebrospinal fluid, was not in the ventricles, right? In the ventricles, in order to control a behavior, right? So that's case in dualism theory. And then they say another criticism, a non-material mind could ruin the what? The conservation matter and energy principle, because you are studying something else to discover something else. So guys, if you are new in this channel, make sure that you subscribe to get more and more information about our subject on the neuropsychology. I appreciate a lot. Bye.
See you on the next videos.